So this is Pam Matula for those of y'all that don't know her, and she is a life coach. I was lucky enough to be on her call the other day, and I have like a whole page of notes that I took from her call. So I'm so glad I was on it. So thank you for letting me be on your call. And I just took away so many pearls and great ideas.
But I have always loved butterflies. I've always, I have to stop and watch a butterfly when it goes by. I was very much my grandmother's child, and she loved butterflies, so I just always loved them. And then when I was going through my certification to become a coach, there's something about thinking about the transformation of a butterfly. They transform, and that if we think about our life and being able to transform, we can decide how we want to, put our life together so that we become our own butterfly. So I love that piece, and I chose Intentional Butterfly for the name of my business because I really love the word intentional when you're thinking about how you want to be focused on what's most important to you. And when you are intentional and when you want those things, then you can transform yourself to your own butterfly.
Okay, so if any of y'all saw also her list of things to do and be intentional about, I love a yay list.
I am all about self-care and taking care of our mental and physical self, and so I've been researching a lot of things, and I think when people say, I know I should be taking care of myself, I should be exercising, I should be eating well, but it's very generic, and it's hard to think about something to actually put in your own life. So I've been looking for myself because I wanted to challenge myself in the month of July to try new things. And one of the things that I stumbled across, and I loved it, it's called a yay list. So at the end of the day, if you write down things that went well for the day, and then even if you had a journal that you wrote for a year and then looked back, you could really look back and see all the things that were great in your life.
I love it. And so positive.
Yes.
So positive. Yes. Filling up the cup.
Definitely.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into the questions from here because what you just said touched on almost all of the questions that we got. How do I get out of a funk? And I think a lot of people on our page, we're in this weird, our kids don't need us to be their chauffeur anymore. We're not sitting there talking to our kids in the car all the time, or they're so busy with sports and friends and all this. And we just get in this funk. And, somebody used the phrase lack of excitement. And I get that. I feel that.
Oh, definitely.
And, just going from things on your to-do list, like I'm going to go to work, and on my lunch break, I'm going to make this call and go here and pick this up. And that's how can we better that?
So one of the concept that I like to think about with our life, and thinking about that our life is like a puzzle, and each chapter has different pieces of the puzzle, and maybe at a particular time the pieces of your puzzle are working on your career and raising kids and going to church and seeing friends on the weekend, and you have these different pieces that makes up your puzzle. And then as you get to the next chapter, the kids may be grown, and so you have a missing puzzle piece. And so if you aren't focused on trying to figure out what do you replace that piece with? Are you going to work more? Are you going to try to see friends more? Are you going to sleep more? But there's some unbalance that happens when your identity is changing. So being intentional with trying to figure out what should be the next puzzle piece, or maybe you have too many puzzle pieces and not enough time. You're trying to spread yourself too thin, and then you have total chaos, and you're not taking care of your body probably, or you're not getting enough sleep, or not eating right, or whatever. And so then the puzzle doesn't make sense. But you can definitely get in a funk when maybe what deep down is really the most meaningful thing to you isn't part of your puzzle, and you haven't even stopped to really think about what is like the most important thing to you? Is the most important thing to you financial security? Is it spending more time with your family? Is it traveling? And when you're not living by what's most meaningful to you, then it does feel like you're just going through the motions and you're just, checking the box for the things that have to get done, but you're not living by what your core values are. So part of coaching would be going through and really trying to take an assessment of all your life and all the areas, what's working, what's not working, that life assessment wheel that we were looking at. It's very telling because a lot of times a low rating in one area is not actually related to like a dissatisfaction with that area. It's usually related to another area. So when I'm coaching someone, I would just let them talk for like an hour and a half. We would do a discovery session and I would just say, so tell me what's going on with your job or with your family. I mean, it's definitely client driven, how deep you want to get, but they're just talking and I'm taking notes. And I can start to see that like things start to come up and things start to be repeated about things that are important or maybe things that aren't going great, but it keeps coming up. And so when you start to look at all of it, you can maybe see, oh, maybe you're not happy with, your job, but it's really related to that you're stressed out at home. And I mean, there's a lot of connections that can be made. Mm-hmm. And when you start to narrow down what is the source and focusing on that and working to increase your satisfaction in, one or two or three areas, it can make other parts of your life feel more happy as well. So that's why we would do the life assessment wheel to try to figure out what is the most important thing to you and are you living by those values? Like if you're saying that work-life balance is the most important thing to you, but you're working 12 hours a day, what is it time to look at different career options, or is it time to,
put boundaries at work?
Put boundaries at right. So you can really like learn a lot by kind of doing like a deep dive, but high level on all the areas of someone's life. And then you start making goals towards what's most important and what would you like to see change in the next 3 months. And then it's about taking the steps every week or every couple of weeks to try to work towards where you want to be.
Things that I wanted to do because I feel like my diet is really good. I'm giving myself more grace than I ever have. And like, I'm really, really happy with a lot of parts of my life. I love both offices where I'm working. I'm super happy starting my business. But physical activity. And one of the questions was, I'm going to group some of them together. How to be consistent, but I love like the goal setting. But for me, I don't want to lose weight. I don't need to see the number go down. I just feel, I'm not going to do it to y'all, but I was like flapping my wings for Pam a minute ago. I need to be toner. And I know what I need to do. I know exactly what exercises to do. How do I make myself do it?
It was an interesting question because you told me that someone asked that, and I actually wrote a little freebie thing on my website to download if anybody is interested in looking at that, because it is an area that everybody struggles in. And habits are habits because they're automated responses. If you're not in the habit of working out, your brain is not thinking about that. So the key to making a change or breaking a change that you want to, make a different change is making small steps so that your brain doesn't fight or flight. Right. And I've had several clients, it's like, okay, you see that goal. And of course we always are anxious to like get there as soon as possible. But anything that's extreme, your brain usually, you can handle it for a little while, but then the second, something happens that you can't keep it up, it's very hard to go back. And then you see it as it was a complete failure and you don't even try it again. And it's just the way that our brain works. So the best way to have long-term success is small changes. And so I would typically encourage people, like a couple of days a week, to try something. Like you're switching one thing with another. What time of the day would it work good? If you were you say you know the exercises, like, well, when would you typically want to exercise? And so we would go through a whole series of questions, and then in the next week, what would you like to challenge yourself to try? And I would not let somebody try to commit to more than 2 or 3 days to try something. And once your brain senses that you're having success trying something new, it registers that success, and a little bit over time it becomes automatic, just like what you wanted it to be. And then your brain isn't having to work going, wait a minute, are we changing what we did, or is this what we do? So and then it's just a natural response.
I love what you said the other day on the call about how do you eat an elephant.
Yeah, you can't
one bite at a time.
You have to think about it one at a time. And I love
huge.
to tell people when they're trying to make a change, to at least stop for a minute and think about how they're feeling when they're having the success with the step, because even subconsciously it'll register. And you're saying, well, I wanna go take a walk 2 or 3 days a week, but it's not happening. Well, when you go do that walk, almost everybody, if they say they want to do something, when they go do it, it's like, yay, I did it. But then the motivation seems to go away after the first time. You have to keep trying. But if you stop and write it down or tell somebody, or just let it sink in what you're doing, little by little, it will become more automatic.
I love that. I need to leave the weights out.
Yeah. We're gonna trip on them.
No, I'm gonna use them.
Yes. So one of the things for people who are new to the idea of life coaching and wonder what the difference is between coaching and going to see a therapist or going to counseling, what I like to think about is we're actually not in competition with each other, that you can actually benefit from having both. That therapists typically, they're like archaeologists that work in your past, that help you understand patterns of behavior, your family of origin, how you became the person that you are, and working through things from your past. A life coach is someone that partners with you to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. So it's more like an architect helping you build your future and helping you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, with goals and with encouragement and with accountability. So I like to think of myself as a cheerleader, like a sounding board. I don't give advice. I will brainstorm with the client if they ask me to, but really the purpose of coaching is to empower people to sit with their thoughts and to share and to come up with their own action plan about what they want to do. That you are infinitely more successful implementing a plan that you come up with yourself. It's just helping other people discover what's inside them, so that they're living by the values that are most important to them, that they're achieving the goals that they want to set, and that they're living their most fulfilling life.
And like you said, just that accountability.
I love the one-on-one. For so long, I was an accountant, and I was a good accountant, and I enjoyed working with other people, and then also having a lot of time to do my own thing, because I am more introverted. But after COVID happened and more jobs were, I was working from home, and it's just me and a computer. I was really missing the interaction, and I started doing some soul searching and realized the best part of my life has been when I'm making a connection with another person. And so I knew I'm supposed to be coaching. It's powerful when you feel like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm very excited about helping other people.
Yes. I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Bye.